1 year later, the Galactic Council chamber looked very different. An 18th seat had been added to the circle. In that seat sat Dr. Julia Kennedy, Earth's High Ambassador to the Council. The Council itself had changed too. New rules governed how developing worlds were contacted and classified. The motion to adopt the new First Contact Protocol has passed, announced Zix Thal, who remained High Counselor. 16 votes in favor, 2 against. Kennedy nodded with satisfaction. The new protocol required peaceful contact with all new species and prohibited resource extraction without fair compensation. It was a major change from the old system of subjugation. After the emergency session 1 year ago, the Council had voted to accept human terms. The decision wasn't unanimous. The Draxians had voted against it. But the majority recognized that humans had changed the balance of power. Fighting them would be costly and dangerous. Earth received full membership in the Council. The attempted invasion forces were withdrawn. Reparations were paid in the form of technology exchanges. Most importantly, the classification system that allowed subjugation of primitive worlds was revised. Kennedy addressed the Council after the vote. This marks an important step toward a more just galaxy. No intelligent species should face exploitation simply because their technology differs from ours. Most Council members had come to respect human innovation. The Prometheus Protocol had been adapted into a peacekeeping technology that prevented armed conflict in disputed regions of space. Human creativity combined with the advanced science of older Council races led to remarkable breakthroughs. After the session ended, Kennedy met with Admiral Frank Carter in her private office on the Council station. Carter had been promoted from lieutenant after his crucial role in detecting the original Council transmission. "The early warning network is nearly complete," Carter reported. "We've established listening posts in 27 key locations throughout the galaxy." Kennedy smiled. "Good. We'll never be caught by surprise again." Research and cultural exchange programs flourished between humans and most Council races. The Vesperans found human art fascinating. The Arcturians, who had opposed Earth's subjugation from the beginning, became particularly close allies. Even the hegemony developed a grudging respect for human adaptability. Only the Draxians remained openly resentful. Their military had been humiliated by the failed invasion. Their representative rarely spoke directly to Kennedy during Council sessions. Intelligence reports indicated the Draxians were secretly arming for potential future conflict. They built new warships and weapon systems designed to resist the Prometheus Protocol. Earth monitored these developments closely but made no direct accusations. Preparation was better than confrontation. On Earth, life had changed dramatically. Knowledge of alien life and technology became public after the invasion attempt. After the initial shock, humans adapted quickly. Council technology improved Earth's environment, medical care, and energy systems. The hidden colonies that had been humanity's insurance policy became thriving outposts of human civilization. New colonies were established openly, with Council approval. Humans, with their unique blend of caution and curiosity, proved to be excellent explorers. In her quarters after a long Council session, Kennedy looked out at the stars. She thought about how close humanity had come to subjugation. If not for the listening post on Europa, if not for the crashed scout ship 50 years ago, if not for the careful planning and deception, Earth might now be nothing but a mining colony. Instead, humans had not only avoided subjugation, but had fundamentally changed the power structure of the galaxy. They had established themselves as equals among the stars through cunning, preparation, and that uniquely human talent for turning disadvantages into strengths. As Kennedy prepared for the next day's session, she reviewed reports from human scientists working on new defensive technologies. The galaxy was still a dangerous place. The Draxians were not the only potential threat, but humanity was no longer hiding. They were no longer pretending to be less than they were. The Council had voted to subjugate humanity. Humans had changed the game instead. And the new game was much better, not just for Earth, but for countless worlds throughout the galaxy. The massive circular chamber fell silent as High Counselor Zix Thal rose from his seat. His pale blue skin reflected the ambient light as he faced the 16 other representatives of the Galactic Council. Each member represented a different advanced civilization, and today they gathered to discuss a newly discovered species. "We are here to vote on the classification of planet Earth and its dominant species," Zixthal announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Our scouts have observed them for 50 years. They are violent, divided, and technologically immature." The Council's orbital headquarters hung above the neutral planet Nexus, far from Earth. Here, the most powerful beings in the galaxy determine the fate of countless worlds. "I propose Earth be classified as a Class 3 primitive world," continued Zixthal. "This classification will permit resource extraction and population control measures." A murmur spread through the chamber. Class 3 designation meant subjugation. It meant humans would become little more than slaves, and their planet a mine. The Arcturian representative, a tall being with gray skin and 4 arms, stood up. "I object. Our observations show humans are remarkably adaptable. They advance quickly and show unusual problem-solving skills. Subjugation may prove difficult." Zixthal waved a dismissive hand. "They have not yet achieved faster-than-light travel. Their weapons are primitive. Their planet is divided into competing nations. What threat could they pose?" "Not a threat," replied the Arcturian, "but a potential ally. With guidance, they could contribute to the Council within a few centuries." A harsh laugh came from Kralvex of the Draxian Empire, a reptilian being with scaled armor. "Centuries? Why wait when we can take what we need now? My people require new mining colonies. Earth has abundant resources." The debate continued for hours. Most council members saw Earth as nothing more than a convenient resource, a backward planet inhabited by primitive beings who spent more time fighting each other than advancing their civilization. "They still burn fossil fuels," noted one representative. "Their space exploration has barely reached their own moon," added another. "They would make excellent labor for the hegemony's new outposts," suggested a third. When the vote finally came, it was 16-1. Earth was classified as a Class 3 primitive world, subject to resource extraction and population control. Only the Arcturian voted against it. "Scout Fleet Delta will conduct the preliminary assessment," Zixthal declared. "They will leave immediately to evaluate Earth's defenses and resource locations." The council members transmitted the orders to their respective military vessels waiting in nearby space. None of them suspected that their supposedly secure transmissions were not as private as they believed. Billions of miles away, on Europa, one of Jupiter's icy moons, Lieutenant Frank Carter stared at his monitoring equipment in disbelief. The small human listening post had been established to detect signals from possible intelligent life. For years, they had found nothing. Until today. Carter adjusted his headphones and focused on the strange patterns coming through his equipment. The signals were encrypted, but fragments were clear enough to cause alarm. "Sir, I'm picking up something unusual," he called to his superior. Captain Lisa Mendez walked over, her face serious. "What kind of unusual, Lieutenant?" "Non-human communications, Captain. I've isolated several repeating patterns that match no known Earth language or code." He pointed to his screen where strange symbols flickered. "And they're mentioning Earth specifically. I've translated this symbol here multiple times. It means Earth or human world." Mendez leaned closer. "Are you certain?" "Yes, Captain. And there's more." Carter's voice dropped. "They're discussing classification and assessment. Military terms. And this pattern here," he pointed to another symbol, "appears in conjunction with resource extraction references." Mendez straightened up, her expression grim. "How far away is the source?" "Based on signal degradation, I'd estimate just beyond our solar system. But they're moving closer." Mendez reached for the secure communication terminal. "I need to alert Earth Defense Command immediately. This changes everything." As she entered her security codes, Mendez had no way of knowing that humanity had just been marked for subjugation by the most powerful forces in the galaxy. The council had made their vote, issued their orders, and set their plans in motion. But humans had always been good at changing the rules of the game. 3 months passed quickly. Earth Defense Force headquarters buzzed with activity as officers rushed through the underground complex. The walls were lined with screens showing the edge of the solar system. Small dots of light appeared on the displays, moving steadily inward. Commander Scott Howard studied the incoming data with narrowed eyes. The alien fleet had arrived just as the intercepted transmissions had predicted. 7 large vessels and 20 smaller craft approached from beyond Neptune. Time to arrival at Mars orbit? Howard asked. 18 hours, sir, replied the young officer at the tracking station. Howard nodded and pressed a button on his communication panel. This is Commander Howard. Implement Operation Wildcard. This is not a drill. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations received the command. Standard first contact protocols would have called for a welcoming committee and open communications. Operation Wildcard was different. It was a plan for potentially hostile encounters, developed in secret after the Europan interception. Prepare the diplomatic vessel, Howard ordered, and get Dr. Grant up here immediately. Dr. Olivia Grant arrived 15 minutes later, her normally neat hair slightly disheveled from being called away from her research. As Earth's leading exolinguist, she had spent the last 3 months studying the intercepted council communications. You've been briefed? Howard asked. Yes, Commander. I'm to make contact and stall for time. She held up a data tablet. I've prepared several conversational paths that should extend negotiations. Howard's expression remained serious. Remember, they believe we're primitive. Play into that assumption. Act impressed by their technology. Ask basic questions, while appearing to negotiate in good faith. Grant added with a nod. Exactly. We need to buy time for our preparations. Howard turned to the viewport, watching as the small diplomatic vessel was readied in the launch bay below. Our survival depends on your performance, Doctor. The alien fleet slowed as it approached Mars. The Council scouts expected to encounter minimal resistance, perhaps a few primitive spacecraft. Instead, they found nothing. No defensive measures, no military presence, just the red planet rotating silently in space. Their sensors detected a single small vessel approaching from Earth. It was unarmed and technologically simple by their standards. Inside his command ship, Fleet Commander Vextor of Scout Fleet Delta watched the approaching human craft with disdain. Primitive design, inefficient propulsion, just as the Council predicted. His second-in-command nodded. Shall we destroy it as a show of force? No, Vextor replied. The Council wants initial contact to assess their leadership structure. Allow them to dock. The human vessel approached cautiously. Dr. Grant piloted it herself, her heart racing despite her calm exterior. The alien mothership loomed before her, at least 20 times the size of her craft. Its sleek design spoke of technology centuries beyond Earth's public capabilities. The docking procedure was surprisingly simple. As Grant stepped through the airlock, she found herself face to face with alien beings for the first time. The leader was tall, with blue-gray skin and elongated limbs. His eyes were large, completely black, and regarded her with clear superiority. I am Fleet Commander Vextor of the Galactic Council, he announced through a translation device. Your world has been classified as a Class 3 primitive planet under Council jurisdiction. Grant bowed slightly, playing her role perfectly. I am Dr. Olivia Grant of Earth. We are honored by your visit. She feigned awe at their technology, looking around with wide eyes. Your vessel is beyond anything we have achieved. Vextor seemed pleased by her reaction. We will begin survey operations immediately. Your leaders will be contacted to arrange the terms of transition. Transition? Grant asked innocently. Resource management and population organization, Vextor explained vaguely. For the greater good of the galaxy. I see. Grant nodded slowly. Our leaders would like to discuss this process in detail. Perhaps we could arrange meetings over the coming weeks to ensure smooth cooperation. Vextor considered this, The humans seemed appropriately submissive. A few weeks of diplomatic talks would make no difference to the inevitable outcome. Agreed. We will establish a base on your moon to conduct preliminary assessments while these talks proceed. Grant smiled pleasantly, hiding her true thoughts. Back on Earth, and in hidden bases throughout the solar system, humanity was preparing a response that would shock the Galactic Council. Every day of delay was vital. Thank you, Commander. We look forward to learning from your advanced civilization, she said, her words perfectly calculated to appeal to his sense of superiority. The game had begun, and humans were already changing the rules. While the Council representatives believed humans were confined to their solar system with limited technology, the truth was very different. 50 years earlier, a small alien scout ship had crashed in the remote mountains of Colorado. The crash was kept secret from the public. Scientists worked day and night to understand the technology. They succeeded in reverse engineering faster-than-light travel, but kept this breakthrough hidden. Over the decades that followed, humanity built secret colonies on planets in nearby star systems. These colonies were small but self-sufficient. They served as insurance against extinction and as hidden military bases far from prying alien eyes. Colonel John Martinez stood on the bridge of the unmarked transport ship as it prepared to jump to light speed. His mission was critical. Visit each hidden colony and mobilize Earth's scattered forces. The ship hummed as the engines powered up. Jump in 5 seconds, the pilot announced. Martinez gripped the handrail as the stars outside the viewport stretched into lines. The ship vanished from the solar system, traveling faster than light toward the first colony in the Alpha Centauri system. Back on Earth, in a facility buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Chief Engineer Samantha Wells hunched over complex diagrams. Dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept in days. Her team worked frantically around her, testing components and running simulations. "Try it again," Wells ordered, pushing her red hair back from her face. A technician activated the test sequence. A small model alien weapon fired at a target protected by a shimmering field. The energy beam hit the field and dissipated harmlessly. Wells smiled for the first time in weeks. "The Prometheus protocol is working. Run it 5 more times to confirm." The Prometheus protocol was an experimental defensive system designed specifically to neutralize the energy weapons used by Council races. It had been in development since the first alien ship was studied, but now they needed it operational in weeks, not years. On the moon, the Council envoys had established their base. Dr. Grant continued her meetings with them, asking detailed questions about Council governance, pretending to be impressed by their technology, and subtly delaying any concrete agreements. Kralvex, the representative of the militant Draxian Empire, grew suspicious of the humans' stalling tactics. Unlike the others, he sensed something wasn't right. The humans were too calm, too accepting of their fate. "They are hiding something," Kralvex insisted during a private meeting with Fleet Commander Vextor. His scaled skin glistened under the artificial lights of the lunar base. What could they possibly hide? Vextor replied dismissively, "Our scans show their technology level clearly. They have not achieved faster-than-light travel. Their weapons are chemical and nuclear at best." "It is not what they have," Kralvex argued. "It is how they act. They should be afraid, desperate, perhaps even violent. Instead, they negotiate calmly and ask for time. Perhaps they simply recognize the futility of resistance," Vextor suggested. "Not all species react the same way to subjugation." Kralvex was not convinced, but he could not provide evidence for his suspicions. He resolved to watch the humans more closely in the coming days. Meanwhile, Colonel Martinez arrived at the Alpha Centauri colony. The small settlement was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, hidden from casual detection. 200 military personnel lived there, maintaining a fleet of advanced spacecraft that no Council member knew existed. "Begin Operation Scattered Shield," Martinez ordered as soon as he met with the colony commander. "We have 3 weeks to assemble our forces near the following coordinates." He handed over a datapad with locations just outside Council space. Similar scenes played out across 7 hidden colonies. Humanity's secret fleet was small compared to the Council's forces, but they had the element of surprise. And thanks to Wells and her team, they might soon have a technological edge as well. As the Council prepared for what they thought would be an easy subjugation, humans throughout the solar system and beyond prepared to change the rules of engagement. The game was about to become much more complicated than the Council ever imagined. As tensions increased, Admiral William Peterson called an emergency meeting at Earth Defense Headquarters. Military leaders from around the world gathered in the underground conference room. Maps of Earth and the solar system covered the walls. Red markers showed the positions of alien ships. Phase 2 begins today, Peterson announced. He was a tall man with gray hair and a serious face. We will show the Council exactly what they expect to see. The plan was clever. Humans would give the aliens a tour of Earth's most advanced military bases. These bases were actually elaborate fakes, built quickly over the past month. They contained outdated technology and weak weapons systems. Will they believe it? Asked a general from the Asian coalition. Peterson nodded. Our intelligence suggests they already believe we're primitive. These bases will confirm their assumptions. The next day, a delegation of Council representatives arrived on Earth. They were led by Grektor, a military observer from the Draxian Empire. His scaled skin and sharp teeth made him look fierce. 4 other aliens accompanied him, each from a different Council race. They first visited a base in North America. Human soldiers demonstrated old-fashioned jet fighters and basic missile systems. The alien observers took detailed notes. These aircraft use chemical propulsion, asked Grektor, barely hiding his disdain. Yes, replied the human guide. Our most advanced fighters can reach Mach 3. Grektor made a sound that might have been a laugh. The slowest Council scout ships could reach Mach 25 in atmosphere. The tour continued for 3 days. The aliens inspected weapon systems, communication centers, and defensive installations. All were carefully designed to appear less advanced than they truly were. After the tour ended, Grektor delivered his report to the Council fleet in orbit. The humans pose no significant threat. Their technology is primitive. Their weapons would be ineffective against our shields. Subjugation can proceed as planned. Meanwhile, Dr. Daniel Wright worked in his hidden laboratory beneath the Pacific Ocean. As head of Earth's Xenobiology Division, he studied the Council races intensely. During the diplomatic meetings, human agents had secretly collected DNA samples from the alien representatives. Hair, skin cells, and even breath samples were gathered and brought to Wright. Fascinating, Wright mumbled as he studied the results on his screen. Each species has distinct biological weaknesses. The Draxians, despite their fierce appearance, were extremely sensitive to certain sound frequencies. The Vesperans couldn't tolerate specific atmospheric changes. The hegemony representatives were vulnerable to particular light patterns. Wright compiled his findings into a detailed report. This information would be crucial for Earth's defense plans. Knowing the enemy's weaknesses could make the difference between victory and defeat. In Council space, far from Earth, the subjugation fleet began assembling. Over 300 warships gathered near the Arcturus star system. The vessels came from various member species, each eager to claim a share of Earth's resources. High Commander Zorbak of the hegemony addressed the fleet commanders through a shared communication channel. Our scouts report that Earth has minimal defenses. Their military technology is primitive. Victory will be swift and total. The commanders cheered. None questioned the intelligence reports. None suspected they were being led into a trap. Back on Earth, Admiral Peterson received news of the assembling fleet. How long until they arrive? He asked his intelligence officer. 2 weeks, sir, the officer replied. Our deep space sensors show they're gathering near Arcturus. Peterson nodded grimly. That's actually more time than we expected. Tell Wells to accelerate the Prometheus protocol deployment and contact Colonel Martinez. I want our hidden fleet in position before the Council Armada arrives. Across the solar system, humans worked day and night to prepare their defenses. The Prometheus Protocol was installed on key installations. Secret weapons platforms were activated. Communication systems were hardened against alien interference. The Council believed they were preparing for an easy conquest. What they would find instead was a carefully laid trap, years in the making. Humanity was changing the rules of engagement before the real battle even began. The Council's armada entered the solar system with overwhelming force. 300 warships moved past Neptune, then Uranus, then Saturn. Their engines glowed bright against the darkness of space. Each ship carried weapons that could destroy entire cities. Admiral Peterson watched from his command center as the alien fleet approached. His officers waited nervously for his orders. "Begin Defense Protocol Alpha," Peterson said calmly. "Showed just enough resistance to be believable." Earth's visible defenses activated. Missile platforms on the moon fired their weapons. Space stations launched fighters. Defensive satellites powered up their laser systems. All of these were older technologies that humans wanted the aliens to see. The Council ships easily destroyed the human defenses. Their advanced weapons cut through Earth's apparent protection like paper. High Commander Zorbak of the Hegemony watched with satisfaction from his flagship. "Pathetic," Zorbak commented as another human defense station exploded. "These creatures barely understand basic space combat." After 3 hours of one-sided battle, Admiral Peterson sent the message they had planned from the beginning. "This is Earth Defense Command to Alien Fleet. We surrender. Please cease fire. We request terms." Zorbak received the message with a smug smile. The Council's information had been correct. Humans were primitive and easily defeated. He ordered his fleet to stop firing. "Prepare landing parties," Zorbak commanded. "Begin occupation at the designated zones." Council forces began landing on Earth in 12 major cities. Their ships descended through the atmosphere. Impressive displays of power meant to intimidate the human population. Soldiers from various Council races established control zones, setting up barriers and checkpoints. What the aliens didn't know was that each landing zone had been carefully prepared as a trap. General Mary Collins oversaw the covert resistance from her hidden command post beneath Denver. "Track every alien patrol route," Collins ordered her team. "Record all their communications, study their equipment, learn everything you can about how they operate." The alien occupiers believed they were in control. They started cataloging Earth's resources for extraction. Teams of Council scientists took samples of minerals, plants, and water. They were especially interested in the planet's abundant liquid water and rare metals. In New York, a Draxian commander named Vrex established his headquarters in the former United Nations building. He summoned local human leaders to inform them of the new rules. "Your planet is now under Council control," Vrex announced to the gathered humans. "You will provide labor for our resource extraction operations. Cooperation will be rewarded. Resistance will be punished." The human leaders nodded meekly, appearing afraid and submissive. When they left the meeting, they immediately contacted General Collins to report everything they had learned about Draxian protocols and technology. Similar scenes played out across the globe. Humans appeared to accept their defeat while secretly gathering critical intelligence on their occupiers. In orbit, Zorbak sent his report to the Galactic Council. Subjugation proceeding as planned. Minimal resistance encountered. Resource assessment underway. Request additional processing ships for mineral extraction. The Council was pleased. Earth would provide valuable resources for centuries to come. The humans would serve as labor until they were no longer needed. For 6 weeks, the occupation continued. The aliens believed they were studying humans, cataloging their resources, and establishing control. In reality, they were being studied more thoroughly than they could imagine. In her underground laboratory, Samantha Wells made the final adjustments to the Prometheus protocol. Her team had worked nonstop, incorporating new data gathered from the occupying forces. "It's ready," Wells announced, looking exhausted but triumphant. "Full deployment possible in 24 hours. Admiral Peterson received the news with grim satisfaction. Alert all resistance cells. Prepare for Phase 3. Throughout the solar system, hidden human installations awaited the signal. The real fleet, concealed beyond the orbit of Pluto, moved into position. Colonel Martinez's forces from the off-world colonies prepared to jump into key positions. The aliens had no idea what was coming. They thought the game was over. They were wrong. The real game was just about to begin. 6 weeks into the occupation, Admiral Peterson gave the order everyone had been waiting for. Activate the Prometheus Protocol. Throughout Earth and the solar system, hidden transmitters powered up. They sent precisely calibrated energy waves that spread quickly through space. These waves were invisible but powerful. They targeted the specific technology used in Council ships and weapons. In orbit, Zorbak was discussing extraction schedules when alarms blared across his flagship. Red warning lights flashed on every control panel. "What's happening?" he demanded. His crew worked frantically at their stations. "Shields failing, Commander. Weapons systems offline." Similar scenes played out across the entire Council fleet. Their advanced technology suddenly stopped working properly. Shield generators failed. Weapon systems shut down. Communication arrays produced only static. On the hidden lunar base, Captain Paul Garcia led the first strike team. 1,000 soldiers boarded stealth ships that had been concealed beneath the lunar surface. These ships used technology reverse-engineered from the crashed alien vessel decades earlier. "All units, launch now," Garcia ordered. His ships rose from hidden bays and accelerated toward the disabled Council fleet. The alien vessels were sitting targets without their shields and weapons. Garcia's forces targeted the flagship first, firing specialized weapons that disabled its engines and power core without destroying the ship. Zorbak watched in horror as human vessels appeared from nowhere and systematically disabled his fleet. Impossible. They don't have this technology. On Earth, the counterattack against ground forces began simultaneously. Major Diane Foster coordinated with resistance cells in every occupied city. They activated devices designed by Dr. Wright that exploited the biological weaknesses of each alien species. In New York, devices emitted sound frequencies that caused the Draxian soldiers intense pain. In London, atmospheric modulators created air conditions unbearable to Vesperan troops. In Beijing, special light patterns disoriented hegemony commanders. The alien occupiers, who had been so confident in their superiority, suddenly found themselves vulnerable and confused. Their weapons malfunctioned. Their communication devices failed. Their biological weaknesses were exploited with scientific precision. Foster led a team to retake the New York headquarters. She carried a small device that emitted the painful sound frequencies. The Draxian guards collapsed, covering what passed for their ears. Foster's team moved past them without firing a shot. Commander Vrex tried to rally his forces, but his commands couldn't be heard over the disabling frequencies. Foster entered his command room with her team. "The occupation is over," she stated simply. "Your forces are being neutralized across the planet." Vrex stared at her in shock. "How? You are primitives." Foster smiled coldly. "We let you believe that." In space, the situation was even more dramatic. The human fleet from the hidden colonies arrived at the edge of the solar system. Instead of attacking the disabled Council Armada, they jumped away using faster-than-light drives. Colonel Martinez commanded the lead ship. "All units, proceed to designated targets." His fleet split into 7 groups. Each group jumped to a different key location in Council space. They appeared near important Council worlds, not to attack, but to establish a presence that could not be ignored. On the Council homeworlds, panic spread as human ships suddenly appeared in their systems. The Council races had believed humans were confined to their own solar system. Now they faced the shocking reality that humans had faster-than-light capability and knew the locations of their core worlds. Back on Earth, Admiral Peterson opened a direct communication channel to the captured Council flagship. Zorbak's face appeared on the screen, his expression a mixture of shock and anger. This is Admiral William Peterson of Earth Defense Force. Your occupation force has been neutralized. Your fleet is disabled. And as you're about to learn, human ships are now present in your home systems. Zorbak could not hide his disbelief. Impossible. The game has changed, Peterson replied calmly. Now, let's discuss new terms. The Council's carefully planned subjugation had been turned completely upside down in less than a day. Humans had revealed capabilities no one had suspected. The balance of power had shifted dramatically. News of the human counterattack spread quickly through Council space. The 17 representatives of the Galactic Council gathered in an emergency session. Their normally orderly meeting chamber was filled with shouting and accusations. High Counselor Zixthal struggled to maintain order. Silence, he finally shouted. The room quieted. We face an unprecedented situation. Somehow, the humans have technology far beyond what our scouts reported. The Draxian representative pounded his fist on the table. We were deceived. They hid their true capabilities. How could they have faster than light travel without our knowledge? Asked another council member. Our intelligence said they were confined to their system. Before anyone could answer, the chamber doors opened. A group of humans entered, led by Lieutenant Commander Ryan Bishop. The council members stared in shock. No species had ever dared to enter their sacred chamber uninvited. Greetings, Bishop said calmly. I represent Earth and humanity. How dare you enter this chamber? Zixthal exclaimed. This is a violation of council protocol. Bishop smiled slightly. You violated our sovereignty when you voted to subjugate our planet. We're simply returning the favor. The human delegation walked to the center of the chamber. Bishop carried a small device which he placed on the floor. It projected a hologram showing Earth's solar system, then expanded to show nearby star systems where human colonies existed. Let me be clear about our position, Bishop continued. We have disabled your invasion fleet. We have neutralized your ground forces on Earth. And as you now know, we have ships positioned near 7 of your homeworlds. The council members shifted uncomfortably. The Arcturian representative, who had been the only one to vote against Earth's subjugation, looked almost amused. How long have you had this technology? The Arcturian asked. We reverse-engineered faster than light travel 50 years ago from a crashed council scout ship, Bishop explained. We've been establishing colonies and building our fleet ever since. Why hide your advancement? Asked a confused council member. Because we observed how you treat other civilizations, Bishop replied. You classify them, exploit them, and control them. We chose to develop in secret until we could defend ourselves properly. Bishop's hologram changed to show the specifications of the Prometheus Protocol. This is just one of our unique technological innovations. It specifically targets and neutralizes council weapons and shields. We developed it by studying your technology for decades. The council chamber was silent as the implications became clear. Humans not only had advanced technology, but had specifically designed countermeasures against council systems. Bishop continued, his tone diplomatic but firm. We propose a new arrangement. Earth will share certain technological innovations, including the Prometheus Protocol, in exchange for full membership in the Galactic Council and reparations for the attempted conquest. Absurd, the Draxian representative shouted. We do not negotiate with equals. Bishop finished for him. That's exactly what we are. And if you prefer, we could instead share the Prometheus Protocol with the many worlds you've subjugated over the centuries. I imagine they would put it to immediate use. The threat was clear. If the Council refused, humans could arm their former victims with the means to resist. Zixthal conferred quietly with several other representatives. The humans waited patiently. Finally, the High Counselor spoke. The Council will consider your proposal. We will need time to discuss. Of course, Bishop replied. We'll give you 24 hours. But be aware that our fleet remains in position, and the Prometheus Protocol remains active throughout your ships. As the human delegation left the chamber, Heated debate erupted among the council members. Most realized they faced a difficult choice. Fighting a prolonged conflict against humans would be costly and dangerous, especially with human ships already in position near their homeworlds. The Arcturian representative spoke into the chaos. Perhaps this is an opportunity. The humans have shown remarkable ingenuity. As allies, they could contribute significantly to the council. One by one, the council members considered this perspective. Even those who had eagerly supported Earth's subjugation began to see the potential benefits of partnership instead. The rules of the game had changed completely. A species meant for exploitation had revealed itself as a powerful new player.